Hey guys, welcome out. It's Lee Dyson with Hey Mr. DJ. I am your education chair for the Los Angeles Tuesdays Together group. And today I'm excited because we are here with our social media chair, social media all things expert, Mindy Marzak.
Hi everyone, thanks.
And Puggles the dog. He's got a few questions today as well. So today's topic is SEO and keywords. It is right here in the members guide. I've downloaded it and we are going to start by reading the whole entire guide from start to finish, all the way through.
Yeah, grab a cup of coffee. We're going to be here for a while.
No, in joking, all joking aside, the guides are amazing and we hope that you guys check them out. Hats off to Rising Tide. They really put a lot of work into these guides and there is so much amazing content in here. And the nice thing about them is we'll always upload them to Facebook. You can find them on the Rising Tide website. You can download them or just save them to your desktop and refer back to them later. I like to go over guides from previous months just to make sure I'm staying on track with some of the objectives. But as amazing as they are, especially with a heavy topic like SEO, they can be kind of a deep dive, right?
Yeah, and actually, considering that SEO is such a heavy topic, they did a really great job at breaking it down and making it very easy to understand. So you might have to read through it 2 or 3 times to let everything sink in, but I'm super impressed with this guide.
Awesome. So the topic for June is SEO and keywords. Now, a lot of you might think, given our current political climate, that SEO stands for super egotistical overlord. And that, while that is pretty applicable, that's not actually what we're here to talk about. What it does stand for is?
Search engine optimization.
Right. And that basically means how optimized your site is to be visible on the web. And so if you can just kind of break down the main components of SEO, your title, your meta tags, your keywords.
Yeah.
You can explain that.
Sure. The first thing to keep in mind for SEO is basically it's how well your website does on Google or any search engine, but we'll probably talk about Google during this video. So it's how well your website shows up on Google. Essentially, we want you to show up on page 1, result 1. That would be awesome. But it's basically how well your website shows up on Google. So what you want is you want your site to be a representative of what your keyword is. So everyone should have a keyword for their business, such as Los Angeles wedding DJ, social media strategist. You know, those are the terms that when people search for those things, we want our website to show up towards the top.
Sure.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you have that keyword in mind. A lot of people, want to do SEO but don't have a clear keyword or key phrase. It can be a series of words, but they don't have that clear in their head. So you definitely want to make sure that you have at least one keyword for your business that you want to focus on and optimize your site. So like you said, the title of the page, so like in your metadata, which ask your webmaster for help if you don't know how to find it. So it should be in the title, the description of your page, and on any text you have on your website on that first page, it should be mentioned a couple times in that text, but make sure it's written like as a conversation and not just what they call keyword stuffing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So keywords basically help establish the basics of what you do, and then you can niche down further and really get specific if you're location based, if you have a very specific style, mm-hmm. right? So there's a lot of other keywords that you can get into. And actually on that, I believe Puggles had a question. That's an excellent question. Puggles was asking, how specific do I want to get with my keywords? And this applies not only to what you're doing in your site to find your target market, but when you're doing a web search. If you've ever done a search and maybe didn't find what you were looking for right away. So recently, Puggles was interested in having a treat. So he got in, he knows how to Google now despite no thumbs, and he searched for treat. But what he got back was Halloween, the song Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes, which is a pretty good song.
Good song. But
not super helpful. Treat yourself to a day of pampering at the spa. All great things related to treat, but not quite what Puggles was looking for. So I think keywords would have been dog treat, biscuit, rawhide.
Exactly, something a little more specific.
Sure. There was one other unfortunate example of keyword searching, and I don't think Puggles wants us to mention it, but he's been getting into fashion a lot. So he basically was Googling doggy style. It wasn't, and the results were not not good, not quite what he wanted. So let that be a lesson. Give some thought into how niche specific you want your keywords to be, not only when you're doing a search to find, because the first product you find might be okay, but it might not be the best product, and ditto for attracting people to your business. So now Google does have a keyword planner, and there are some other resources out there to help you niche down with your keywords, correct?
Yeah, so you can search through, it's through Google AdWords, but you don't need to spend money on Google AdWords to access it. You do need to create an account. But if you search on Google for Keyword Planner, it will be the first result that pops up. And you can type in, for example, wedding DJ, and it will show you the other top searches related to the phrase wedding DJ. It will tell you actually what people are searching for, and that can help you that will help give you some ideas for what your keyword should be.
Sure. Yeah. And I've seen that with photographers that were doing well, but they really wanted to get specific, so their keywords were fine art photographer,
sure,
rustic weddings, hipster weddings, goth weddings. I know someone that just specializes. We have a few people in the group actually, that in the Tuesdays group that have a specific style, and so utilizing the keywords will pair them with their ideal client. And that's a whole nother conversation, but if you haven't sat down and thought about who your target market is, who your ideal client is, and everything that you do in terms of SEO should be really thought out, and specifically so you can go after that group.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, there's going to be, if someone searches for wedding photographer, there's going to be hundreds of billions of results. So if you search for Los Angeles wedding photographer, it's going to get a little more specific. If you search for modern style Los Angeles wedding photographer, even more specific. So just things to keep in mind when you're thinking about what your one keyword should be.
Sure. Now, again, this is not a deep dive, a pretty short dive. So I know from what I've read that the search engines in Google, you can outsmart them, right? There's some of these companies that will email you and say that guarantee they can get you first page results like that, but you don't recommend.
No, I mean what those people are going to do. First of all, if someone just reaches out to you via email and introduces themselves by just saying, "Hello, joysocial.net, nice to meet you," they're probably a spammy company anyway.
Well, I have a Nigerian prince friend that would beg to differ with you on that point.
So so just ignore those emails. They're never good. But generally what those companies claim to do is get you to the top results in Google, but what they're really doing is they're doing it in a spammy way and an unauthentic way. And Google really, really likes authenticity. If you if you put in a search, any type of search, and look at those first few results, they're going to be good quality websites. They're going to provide good quality, real information. They're not going to be spammy, weird sites. So keep that in mind. Sure. Those companies often offer to do this amazing thing, and it's really they're just gaming the system. So authenticity matters, and also once Google figures out how people are beating their system, they're going to change their algorithm again. Yeah. I mean, this happens over and over again. So
slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. Be patient, be authentic, and the results that you get are going to last a long time.
Yeah.
So
authenticity will always win on Google.
So I know, let's talk about, that's excellent point. Blogging, Puggles. So he likes to blog. Let's talk about two aspects. First, what are the very basic, most simple steps anyone can take who has a website and just wants to do a self-audit and make sure, hey, am I even in the game? Am I even out there to be seen to the best of my ability without a blog? If you just have a website and you don't have the time for it. So what are the takeaway of the few key things that you should start with today?
Sure. So first of all, have that keyword in mind. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to either have your webmaster go to the back end of your site, or if you use WordPress or Squarespace, you can access it yourself. But your site title, your site description should have your keyword or your key phrase in it. So I'll use myself, for example. My website is joysocial.net. Now, people aren't going to be searching Joy Social. That's my business name. If you've met me, maybe you'll search it to try to find me again. But people aren't searching that on a regular basis. So what I want people to find me by searching social media strategist or social media coach. So in my social media guru. Yeah. I'll have to check Keyword Planner and see which one of those is the top result. So my site name is going to be joysocial.net. but my title and my description should say social media strategist somewhere in there. And also, if you have a paragraph on your front page, or any type of text on your front page, your keyword should be somewhere in there a couple times if you can do it. And what you can do is, instead of saying the words Los Angeles wedding DJ over and over again, you can throw in Los Angeles, you can throw in DJ, you can throw in wedding, and that way those words are repeating, but it's more of an authentic conversation rather than keyword stuffing like we talked about at the beginning. Yeah.
Sure. So if I get it correctly, the takeaway is make sure that you have an accurate title, then the next line down in the search engine is your description, and then you have your actual wedding content. And all of those are composed of keywords.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, you have just enough keywords in your actual content that reflect your title and your description. But you do recommend, assuming that you have a site or you're planning to get a site that has a blog built into it, blogging now does significantly increase your visibility.
Yeah. So Google likes sites that are updated regularly. They're not going to give a result. If someone searches something, they're not going to give a result that's several years old. So you want to make sure that you have your site updated. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a blog. So if you have an events page or a products page, just make sure that you're continuously updating that. But a blog will definitely help in having you have fresh, new, unique content on your site. And the good thing about blogging is that every blog article you write can have a different keyword. So let's say, for example, your main keyword is Los Angeles wedding DJ, but you did an event over at Pickwick Gardens in Burbank. You can write your blog post that says Los Angeles wedding at Pickwick Gardens, and all of a sudden you have a keyword for Pickwick Gardens, and if someone searches Pickwick Gardens, maybe your article will show up. So it just gives you these new fresh ways to add content to your site. The other thing I just want to mention real quick, going back to things that you can do right away, is make sure your images are optimized. So a lot of people will have their images titled like image123.jpg. And what you want to do is, before you even put them on your website, rename those images so that they have your keyword, or they at least describe the image. Los Angeles wedding, beach wedding, church wedding, so that, because when Google searches for their Google image search, they're looking at those titles. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, yes, right, Puggles. So Puggles is working on his website. It's a doggyday.com. And let's say he's got all his keywords, he's got his title, his meta tags, all his content is there, and the site goes live. There's still another step before he'll actually be seen and found in search engines. And this is really key, I think, because a lot of people put it together on Wix or something, put it out there, and then they wonder why they're not being found.
Yeah, well, exactly. They'll be found eventually, but it's a really good idea once you update a website to let Google know that you exist and that you've updated it. So what you want to do is you want to upload your site index to Google. And if you just do a Google search, how to upload my site to Google, or how to upload my site index to Google, it will teach you exactly how to do that. Or if you have a webmaster, or if you have a hosting company, you can check with them, but it's super easy to do yourself.
Well, that's great. I think that's a really good start. Is there anything else before we go? Any other final takeaway or advice?
I don't think so. I mean, look, guys, there's a lot of SEO stuff that you can do, and it's extremely overwhelming. This is actually a book I have called The Art of SEO. It's 2 inches thick. I haven't read it. So don't get overwhelmed by all of the things. Just do the basic things that we talked about today. If you have any questions, reach out to us and go through the guide. Actually, the part in the guide that says tips from the community towards the end has some really quick paragraphs, really, really good advice. It's all written in plain English. So just go ahead and read that and get started on that. Don't worry about the rest. And then once you have that under control, if you want, you can do a deeper dive or hire someone. But Just do the basics from the guide and you'll be set.
Awesome. Well, this is great. Thank you so much for joining us. How can people find you?
Oh, you can find me at joysocial.net or just search for me on Facebook, Joy Social.
Awesome. Well, we hope this was informative and helpful. And once again, if you guys have questions, reach out. We are here to be of service and to help and to inspire. Don't forget, a rising tide lifts all boats, and we are community over competition. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.